stop whatever you're doing because this right here is going to blow your mind. Today, we're unlocking Dwayne The Rock Johnson's insanely epic car collection. Some of these cars are so exclusive, you might never see them again, unless you stuck around for the full video. Trust me, by the end of this, you'll be drooling over these wheels. Ready to get started? Hit that subscribe button because you won't regret it. Okay, let's get a little retro with the Plymouth Prowler. If you know Dwayne Johnson, you know the guy's got a soft spot for the things that are a little out of the ordinary. Enter the Prowler, that crazy retro futuristic car that looks as if it rode straight out of a comic book. And while compared to some of the other cars in his collection, this one's a bit more affordable at around $40,000. It's special to him for different reasons. The Prowler is one of those cars that makes a statement. It's all flash and bang, which is why it attracts The Rock. He doesn't collect cars, he collects experiences and memories. Fun fact, Dwayne brought the Prowler on account of his earlier days wrestling memorabilia. Dwayne was flashy, and is what was distinguished him from the rest. Not about speed or luxury, this is Dwayne's journey. It's a small piece of his past, wrapped up in some sort of wild futuristic bundle. This automobile turns heads, but to Dwayne, this reminds him of his origins. From wrestling arenas to movie sets, the Prowler, much like a small piece of his life on wheels, is his own story. And honestly, it may not be the most expensive in his collection, but probably the most personal. Now here's a classic for you, the Cadillac Escalade. But of course we're not talking about your average family SUV. We're talking about Dwayne Johnson's Escalade on steroids variety. And no one knows steroids better than The Rock, am I right? This is his go-to for getting around to the movie sets or taking the whole family for a ride. Because sometimes you just need a car that can fit 10 people. And if you're The Rock, those people are probably celebrities or some massive security guys. His Escalade is more than just big, it's luxurious. Think of it as a rolling mansion. It's got a fully custom entertainment system that probably outclasses most home theaters. You got your massaging seats because, after all, pumping iron and saving the world is tiring work. And even The Rock needs to unwind sometimes. And of course, not to be forgotten, it is practically a mobile office. They say he has a setup in there where you can take meetings, make calls, sign maybe even movie contracts, and cruise through LA. And how much will this Escalade experience cost? Well, with all the luxury touches and customization, we're talking about $100,000. But seriously, if you had to spend hours stuck in traffic, wouldn't you want to do it in a luxurious behemoth like this? And let's sum it up with a bit of old school muscle, the Chevrolet Chevelle SS. You knew Dwayne must have at least one classic American muscle car in his collection, right? That's all nostalgia because the Chevelle SS is more about this bygone time of pure horsepower and no-nonsense design. Dwayne's been vocal about his affection for this car, and it's not just because he believes it's cool looking, though it is. He put so much work into restoration on the power plant and keeping it close to perfect. Not a half-hearted restoration on a Chevelle SS, he had it restored with performance enhancement while maintaining its classic charm. Price-wise, the car is about $100,000, but for Dwayne, it's not just about money. This car means something to him. It represents a time of things being less complicated, if you will, before Hollywood fame and wrestling for championships. This is his way of sticking with the roots, and honestly, who wouldn't want a piece of their past wrapped up in a beautiful, roaring machine? Now let's shift gears a little bit. There you are sitting there thinking, wait, Dwayne Johnson owns a pickup truck? Okay, but it's not just any pickup. We're talking about the Ford F-150, except this one is supercharged and customized to fit into Dwayne's superhero lifestyle. For starters, the truck is built like a tank. Literally. The Rock got his F-150 tricked out with bulletproof glass, because why not? It's got a supercharged engine, which means it's not just a heavy-duty workhorse, but also able to perform insanely. So now for the inside of the Scaramanga. Well, that's a factory leather seat, and he didn't stop there. No. This guy had the whole interior decked out in custom leather that probably smells like pure bank. And because Dwayne spends so much time on these movie sets and traveling around, this F-150 here is literally a rolling luxury office. And the price for all this awesomeness? Well, after all the bulletproofing, customizations, and engine mods, this beast comes in at around $150,000. But for The Rock, that's just pocket change. Well, now you must be aware of how The Rock cannot have an automobile collection without a Lamborghini. It's pretty much an obligatory purchase for anyone who's reached the legendary league in Hollywood, or in his case, the WWE and Hollywood as well. So of course, Dwayne was all set to get himself a Lamborghini Huracan. Price tag? About $250,000. But don't think for a second that he just waltzed into a dealership, whipped out his credit card, and drove off. Oh no, The Rock needed to own this. The first thing that Dwayne done to his Huracan was give it a slick matte black wrap. This thing looks like something out of a Batman movie. That is, the car seems to possibly make Gotham safe, but simultaneously can draw into the Oscars with such a beautiful appearance, being as cool as it is. And the customizations do not end there either. It has carbon fiber detailing added to the body, which make it lighter and stronger. You see, carbon fiber isn't about aesthetics, though the car does look crazy, don't get me wrong. It's all about making sure that this beast takes off down the highway. And for the love of all things sky high, the Hurricane comes with a V10, more than 600 horsepower too. This sledgehammer does 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 2.5 seconds. Yeah, fast enough, you blink and it's gone. Now remember, Dwayne is 6'5" and built like a superhero, so the first thing he had to do was to get those seats customized. A regular Hurricane seat probably feels like a kid's toy for him. Just think of the effort that goes into ensuring The Rock fits comfortably in this thing without visiting a chiropractor every time he gets behind the wheel. But it's time to get a little more high class, yet still bring the pain in the McLaren 650S. Now, when I think of British luxury, McLaren's probably going to be near the top of that list. Of course, Dwayne didn't go out and buy himself the standard version of this supercar. No way. He had to go full rock mode with some personal touches. First of all, the car itself, the thing cost probably around $280,000. And let's just say that it's just the opening price. Dwayne had the paint job customized. Imagine sleek, bold, and eye-grabbing. And while most of us are worrying about getting comfy in a tiny supercar, The Rock had the interior changed to fit his gigantic frame. McLarens aren't exactly roomy inside, but through custom upholstery and a few tweaks around, the interior ensures that Dwayne doesn't feel like he's stacked within a sardine can. The interiors boast of all the great stuff you expect from supercars of this stature, carbon fiber galore, and the finest leather finishes money can buy. Because it's a McLaren, its performance is strictly for the books. The thing takes 0 to 60 miles per hour in under 3 seconds, and I have no doubt that Dwayne likes the amount of power under his feet. Fast, luxurious, and built especially for The Rock, it's how you roll when you got box office clout. Okay, so just imagine a truck that just blew its way out of some Mad Max movie. That is the Hennessy Velociraptor V8, and if there's a car that screams out, "I'm Dwayne Johnson," this is it. The Ford F-150 already walks the earth, but slap a supercharger on that bad boy, throw in some outrageous off-road capabilities, and you've got the Velociraptor. This isn't just any truck, it's been customized for Dwayne's larger-than-life persona. With military-grade materials, it's built for anything, from city streets to off-road adventures. Dwayne doesn't settle for standard trucks. He needs one that can handle Hollywood sets and extreme wilderness survival, and the Velociraptor was made exactly for that. And because Dwayne's truck is not just about rugged durability, it had to step up in the luxury factor too. It is like the cabin of a private jet, including high-end leather seats with a custom-built entertainment system. The price tag? Around $350,000. But let's be honest, if you're Dwayne Johnson, you don't just buy a truck, you buy a statement on wheels. And now let's introduce the big guns as when it comes to luxury. The Rolls-Royce Wraith isn't made for speed or off-roading anymore. It's meant to make that entry. The Wraith, as it runs for about $400,000, is basically what you drive when you've already conquered the world and you want to do it in style. This thing is luxury personified, from hand-stitched leather seats to the most famous Starlight headliner. Yep, the ceiling of this car literally glows with little fiber optic lights as if it's a starry night up there. You could just be sitting in traffic, but inside the Wraith, it feels like you're on a private planet. And naturally, since it's Dwayne, he started embroidering his initials into the seats. It even comes with his custom sound system, because of course, if you're The Rock, the playlist to accompany it has to sound as epic as you do. It's all about class rather than flash, and was not built to shriek, "Look at me," said Lamborghini or Ferrari. But somehow, it still has this attention-grabbing appeal in a way that is almost regal. Now let's take it up a notch with the Ferrari LaFerrari. Now, I don't know if it gets any more elite than this in the world of supercars. This bad boy comes with a price tag of $1.4 million and is hybrid as well, so yeah, it's kind of eco-friendly, but don't let that fool you. The car can still absolutely tear up on the road. The LaFerrari is one of the most exclusive Ferraris ever made, and of course Dwayne Johnson had to get his hands on one. The first thing he did was get the car a custom paint job. After all, an ordinary Ferrari is never going to cut it for The Rock. He needs that special color scheme to cut him out from the rest, and trusting his judgment, there's probably some shade of black or fiery red. Inside, Dwayne had the interior customized with a one-of-a-kind stitching to make it fit his larger-than-life persona. This is not a off-the-lot Ferrari, it's the Dwayne Johnson special. But this LaFerrari has one thing that you might not expect. Fitting The Rock into this machine was like a challenge. These cars are not cut out for guys who can bench press the car itself. So of course some modifications had to be made to make sure Dwayne could comfortably squeeze into the driver's seat. Once inside though, this car does 0 to 60 miles per hour in under 3 seconds and tops out at over 217 miles per hour. It's like Dwayne in his wrestling days, fast, powerful, and built to dominate. Okay, let's get started with one of Dwayne The Rock Johnson's crown jewels, the Pagani Huayra. I mean, come on, this is the royalty of supercars. Dwayne does nothing small, and the choice of the Pagani Huayra surely is no exception. The thing costs a pretty cool $2.6 million, but for Dwayne, it's about the lifestyle that comes with it. Now here's where things get interesting. Dwayne's not just some guy off the street, he's a 6'5" giant of muscle, so fitting into some regular supercar over their dead bodies. Word is that he had the interior of this thing customized to fit his larger-than-life frame. I mean, can you imagine? Whilst we sit for an adjustment, this fellow is fine-tuning a multi-million-dollar automobile to fit him like a glove. Seats? Of course, hand-stitched Italian leather is more silky than the finest suit that you've ever owned. But there's more to it than just looks alone. It's all about brute force. An engine with 720 horsepower and a twin-turbo V12 can only mean one thing. The car doesn't cruise, it flies. And don't even get me started about that carbon fiber body. It must keep its weight under check while maximizing the thrill of ride performance. For a guy like Dwayne who lives by the motto of going big or going home, this car makes total sense. It's a head turner, it's ridiculously fast, and it's as rare as Dwayne Johnson's flop at the box office. Basically, it never happens. And that's a wrap on this wild ride. I mean, is there anything The Rock doesn't own? If you enjoyed that as much as I did, then do me a favor and hit that like button, and make sure you subscribe for more mind-blowing content. Trust me, you're gonna want to be here for the next video. Catch you on the flip side. Curious about the luxury cars NFL players cruise around in? Dive into this video to discover their most extravagant rides, ranked from $1 all the way up to a jaw-dropping $5 million.